Welcome back to Tips with Learn World.
Get ready to unlock a whole new layer of understanding about something we use every single day, but maybe don't really dissect the English language itself. Today we're diving into its foundations, the parts of speech. Think of this as your shortcut to being really well informed about how words work together, how they connect, persuade, even surprise us.
That's right. And our mission here is really to pull out the most useful insights from your sources on these parts of speech. We're going, beyond just the basic definitions.
Right.
We want to reveal that hidden architecture of language and show you how understanding the precise role each word plays can seriously sharpen your communication.
Exactly. Because it might seem like dry grammar, but it's actually this vibrant system. And once you see how these simple words fit together, you really can't unsee it. There's a real joy in peeling back those layers.
And that understanding truly matters. I mean, whether you're writing an email, giving a presentation, or just reading a book, knowing the function of each word helps you choose them better.
Yeah, more intentionally.
More intentionally, exactly. Convey nuances more accurately and just communicate with, well, greater precision and impact.
Okay, let's dive right in then, starting with the absolute core, the anchors of our sentences. Nouns. What's the big picture on these?
Okay, so at its most basic, a noun just names something. A person, animal, object, idea, feeling. You get the picture. It's usually the subject or the object of a verb, the thing doing the action or having the action done to it, like I live in the United States of America.
United States of America is the noun there. Got it.
Yeah.
So names like John or Lion, that's straightforward. But what I find interesting is how just choosing a type of noun can shift the whole feel. Let's talk abstract versus concrete nouns. What's the impact there?
That's where it gets subtle. Concrete nouns name things you can, touch, see, hear, perceive with your senses. Table, dog, house. They ground things.
Right. Tangible.
Tangible.
Okay.
But abstract nouns name ideas, concepts, qualities. Love, peace, fear. Things you can't physically grab. So choosing between them really shifts the message. If you say, love is a wonderful thing, you're talking about a concept.
Universal idea.
Exactly. Whereas let there be peace on earth uses peace abstractly too. Understanding that helps you decide, do you want your listener to picture something specific or think about a bigger idea?
That makes a lot of sense. It changes the whole feeling. Now, sometimes words kind of team up, don't they, to make one noun. Compound nouns.
Precisely. Compound nouns are just two or more nouns smushed together somehow to make a single noun concept.
Like schoolboy.
Schoolboy, fruit juice, sometimes hyphenated like sister-in-law. Even in a phrase like get your haircut today, haircut acts as one noun.
It's efficient.
It is.
Yeah.
It lets us name complex ideas pretty concisely.
I've always thought collective nouns are kind of fun. Treating a whole group is one thing. What's maybe a common sticking point there?
Well, collective nouns describe a group as one unit, right? Family, flock, audience. What's neat is how specific they can be. A flock isn't just birds, it's sheep too. A swarm is for insects, a shoal for fish.
Wow, okay.
The sticking point is often verb agreement. Do you treat it as singular or plural? It depends if the group's acting as one, like Napoleon's army was defeated, or as individuals.
Context matters.
Okay.
Which brings us to common versus proper nouns. Is this just about capital letters? Or is there more to it for clarity?
Well, the capitals are the clue, but the function is specificity. A common noun is general flower, book.
Any old flower.
Right. A proper noun names a specific unique thing. Sophia, London, Sunday. And yeah, always capitalized.
So let's pick the yellow flowers versus Sophia gives us homework except Sunday.
Exactly. The first is general. The second gives you exact names. That precision avoids confusion.
We also distinguish animate versus inanimate living versus non-living. And then there's countable versus uncountable nouns. Why is that distinction important?
Animate is living man, elephant. Inanimate is objects, stone, table, like tigers and elephants are found. For countable versus uncountable, it's all about how you quantify them.
Okay.
Countable nouns have plurals. Friend, friends, house, houses, you can count them. 35 restaurants.
Makes sense.
Uncountable nouns don't usually have a plural money, bread information. You can't say 3 monies or 2 breads usually.
Right. You'd say pieces of bread or something.
Exactly. And this affects which words you use with them, like many for countable, much for uncountable, many friends, much money.
Got it. And the last noun type, the classic plural versus singular. Beyond just adding S, what about those exceptions? English loves those.
Oh, it does. The irregular plurals. They keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
So yeah, most just add is. But you get leaf to leaves, knife to knives, scarves can be scarves.
Why though? Just history.
Pretty much. Remnants of older language patterns, you just have to learn them. But they add character, don't they?
They definitely do. Okay, so we have our nouns, but constantly repeating them would sound awful. That's where pronouns come in, right? The stand-ins.
The elegant substitutes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Their main job is to replace a noun or even another pronoun, mostly to avoid awkward repetition.
Like your example, Olivia is tall and Olivia is intelligent. Clunky.
Very clunky. The pronoun smooths it out. Olivia is tall and she is intelligent. Makes the language flow.
So they keep things moving. Let's walk through the main types.
Sure. First, you have subject pronouns. These are the ones doing the action. I, you, he, she, it, we, they.
Okay.
Then you have object pronouns, receiving the action. Me, you, him, her, it, us, them.
And the classic example.
I like you, but you don't like me. You see I and me, you and you. Switching roles perfectly there. Subject, object.
Clear. And what about when the subject and object are the same? Like, talk about yourself.
That's where reflexive pronouns step in. They end in self or aselfs.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, themselves.
She looked at herself in the mirror.
Exactly. The action reflects back onto the subject. But they also have another use, for emphasis.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like Emma herself cooked dinner. It emphasizes that Emma and nobody else did the cooking. Adds a bit of punch.
Interesting. Okay, showing ownership. That's possessive pronouns. Seems simple, but any common slip-ups?
Possessive pronouns show who owns something. Mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs. This car is bigger than mine.
Right.
The common confusion is mixing them up with possessive adjectives like my versus mine. Mine needs a noun after my car. Mine stands alone. The car is mine.
Ah, okay. And crucially, no apostrophe when it's possessive, right? That
Yeah.
trips people up.
Absolutely. It shows possession. The apostrophe means it is or it has.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Good reminder. Then we have demonstrative pronouns, pointing words.
That's a great way to think of them. This, that, these, those. They point to specific things, often showing proximity.
Near or far.
Exactly. This is her car, the one nearby.
Oh.
And that is mine, the one further away. They cut down ambiguity by pointing clearly.
Okay. And lastly, for pronouns, relative pronouns. They sound like they connect ideas.
They do precisely that. They introduce relative clauses, those bits that give extra information about a noun mentioned earlier.
Like who, which, that.
And whose, yes. For example, her new laptop, which she bought last week, is very expensive. The which clause tells us more about the laptop.
Or, this is the woman who sold me a stolen phone.
Right. They're essential for weaving together complex sentences and adding details smoothly.
Wonderful. Okay, nouns give us the who and what. Pronouns make it smoother. But what makes a sentence actually do something? That must be the verb.
The engine, absolutely. Verbs convey action, bring, read, run, or they express a state of being, exist, stand.
And crucially, they set the tense right when it's happening.
That's their superpower. He's reading, tells us it's happening now. But the real impact, I think, comes from choosing the right verb, a strong verb.
What do you mean by that? How does that play out?
Well, think about main verbs or action verbs. They tell us what the subject is doing. Ran, swim, jump.
Okay.
But instead of saying, like, he quickly ran, which uses a weaker verb ran plus an adverb quickly,
you could say,
he sprinted or he dashed. The stronger verb often includes the manner of the action. It makes writing much more vivid and concise.
that's a great tip. Fewer words, more impact. But verbs sometimes need backup, right? Helping verbs.
They do. Auxiliary verbs, we also call them. They support the main verb. They help form questions, negatives, show possibility, or set the tense and mood.
Like is, be, do, have.
And modals like could, must, will, may. So, does Sophia write? Does helps form the question, I may marry you. Shows passibility. They provide the grammatical structure.
Got it. And then there are verbs that don't show action but connect things. Linking verbs.
Right. These don't describe what the subject does, but what the subject is or is like. They link the subject to more information about it.
Like be, seem, feel, taste.
Exactly. This sweet tastes good. Taste connects sweet to the description good, or the pizza is heavenly, is links pizza to heavenly. State of being, not action.
Okay, now two types that can be tricky. Transitive and intransitive verbs. How do we tell them apart, and why bother?
It's crucial for sentence structure. A transitive verb needs a direct object. The action has to transfer onto something or someone.
Like, I know Emma.
Perfect. Who do you know? Emma. Emma is the direct object receiving the knowing. Or, he lost my cat. What did he lose? My cat.
So if you can ask what or whom, after the verb and get an answer in the sentence, it's probably transitive.
That's a great rule of thumb, yes.
So intransitive verbs don't have that direct object then?
Correct. They don't take a direct object. The action is complete by itself. It might be followed by an adverb or a prepositional phrase, but not an object.
Like the students arrived, full stop.
Exactly. Or the students arrived at the residency. At the residency tells us where, not what they arrived. Or the patient's health deteriorated quickly. Quickly tells us how, not what deteriorated.
Understanding that helps build correct sentences. Makes sense.
Okay.
From the engine to the details. Adverbs, the modifiers, what's their main job?
Adverbs add detail. They modify verbs, adjectives, or even other adverbs. They tell you more about how, when, where, how often, or to what extent something happens.
And many end in "hrimmingly," but not all.
Right. Like Emma writes quickly and well. Quickly ends in curly. Well, doesn't, but both tell us how she writes. Or the brothers were badly injured.
So they add nuance. Is there a danger with them?
Overuse, maybe? Like we said with strong verbs, sometimes a better verb or adjective choice means you don't need the adverb. Too many adverbs can feel a bit clumsy.
Okay, use judiciously. And they're grouped by the info they give.
Exactly. Makes them easier to grasp. Adverbs of time tell when. Now, yesterday, soon, later. My father went to Chile last year.
Simple enough. Adverbs of place tell where.
Yep. Off, above, here, outside, and indoors. Let's put the china in the cupboard. In the cupboard acts as an adverbial phrase of place here.
Okay. Adverbs of manner. That sounds like how.
Precisely. How something is done. Cheerfully, efficiently, painfully, quickly, madly. I am madly in love. Or the thief moves swiftly. They paint a picture of the action.
And for intensity, adverbs of degree.
These tell you the level or extent. How much? Quite, fairly, too, enormously, very. Arthur is rather tall. Or father was very much pleased. They dial the intensity up or down.
And finally, adverbs of frequency. How often?
Right. Always, sometimes, often, never, usually, rarely. He always wears a shirt and tie. Crucial for describing habits or routines.
Okay, so adverbs modify verbs, adjectives, other adverbs. What about the words that describe the nouns and pronouns themselves? That's adjectives, right?
The describing words, exactly. Their job is to modify nouns or pronouns, adding detail, color, specificity, making things less generic.
Like large, gray, friendly.
Yep. They live in a big, beautiful house. Big and beautiful tell you about the house. Without them, it's just a house. With them, you start to picture it.
And they can go in a couple of places in the sentence.
Usually before the noun, a nice job. But they can also come after linking verbs like be, feel, seem, like he is intelligent or I feel happy. Then they describe the subject.
Besides general descriptive words, there are specific types of adjectives too.
Oh, absolutely. And some are really fundamental, like the articles a, and the. They're actually considered special adjectives.
A and for general things. The for specific.
Exactly. Indefinite, a book, versus definite, the book. A tiny choice that makes a big difference in clarity. Are you talking about any one or the specific one?
Got it. Then possessive adjectives.
These show ownership and always come before the noun they modify. My, your, his, her, it's our, their. This is my car.
And that's different from the possessive pronoun mine, which stands alone.
Exactly. My car, adjective plus noun, versus the car is mine, pronoun.
Okay. Demonstrative adjectives. How are they different from the pronouns this, that, these, those?
Great question, because they use the same words. The difference is demonstrative adjectives always modify a noun right after them. If I hear that parrot again, that describes parrot.
Or pass me this pen, this modifies pen.
Right. The demonstrative pronoun would stand alone. This is my pen. The adjective needs the noun buddy.
Clear. What about indefinite adjectives?
These give general information about the amount or quantity of a noun, not a specific number. Words like another, any, many, some, few.
She left a few minutes ago. We don't know exactly how many minutes.
Precisely. Few is indefinite.
And funnily enough, actual numbers can be adjectives too. Numbers adjectives.
Yep. When a number modifies a noun to tell you how many, it's acting as an adjective. I have 5 apples. 5 describes apples. Simple as that.
Okay, we've got the main players, their stand-ins, their actions, and their descriptions. Now, how do we show relationships between words? That's prepositions, isn't it?
The relationship builders.
Yeah.
Yes. Usually short words like in, on, at, by, for, with, under, above. They sit before a noun or pronoun.
The object of the preposition.
Right. And they show how that noun or pronoun relates to something else in the sentence, often a verb or another noun.
Like, she sat on the chair. On shows the relationship between sat and chair.
Exactly. And choosing the right one is critical for meaning. In the chair, under the chair, beside the chair, totally different pictures.
Precision is key, and they're grouped by the kind of relationship.
They are. That also makes sense of them. Prepositions of time specify when. In for months, years, seasons. In July, in 2024. On for days and dates. On Monday, on the 5th. For specific times at 10 a.m. at noon.
I have a meeting at 10. Shops don't open on Sunday. Got it.
Then prepositions of place denote position, where something is.
Your sources had a handy guide. At for a point, in for enclosed space, on for a surface.
That's a great summary. So at the corner, at the point.
Okay.
In India, in a closed space.
Oh.
On the cover, a surface.
Do you live in India? The author's name is on the cover. Makes sense.
And for movement, prepositions of direction.
To, into, onto.
Right. They express movement towards something. Emma went to the library. Destination. The ball bounced into the box. Movement from outside to inside. They describe the path.
Okay. What about prepositions of agent or instrumentality? Sounds a bit technical.
It just means showing who did something or what was used to do it. By and with are the main ones here.
Harry Potter was written by J.K. Rowling. By shows the agent, the author.
Exactly. Or her heart was filled with joy. With shows the instrument or means what filled her heart.
And when a preposition and its object hang out together, they form a prepositional phrase.
Right, like up and down the stairs or by the river. The whole phrase often acts like an adjective or an adverb, adding descriptive detail to the sentence.
Very useful little phrases, okay? From relationships to connections, conjunctions, the joiners.
The linguistic glue.
Yeah.
Their job is to join words, phrases, or clauses together, making connections, allowing complex thoughts in one sentence.
And the famous acronym is HEMBOYS.
That's for the most common type, yes. For and, nor, but or, yet so. Like pizza and burgers are my favorite. And joins the two nouns.
So what are the main types of conjunctions and how do they work?
Okay, first are those and boys coordinating conjunctions. They connect two or more items that are grammatically equal or parallel.
Like two nouns, two verbs, two clauses.
Exactly. She plays tennis and soccer, two nouns. It is raining, so we have an umbrella. Two independent clauses linked by cause-effect. They create balance.
Okay. Then the ones that work in pairs. Correlative conjunction.
Right. Always used in pairs. Both dot and, either dot or, neither dot nor, but also held to. They coordinate two items too, but often add emphasis or show a choice.
My sister will begin either trade school or community college. Clear choice.
Or, he's not only a strong student, but also a gifted athlete. Highlights two parallel qualities emphatically. They add a bit of flair.
And the third type, subordinating conjunctions. These sound like they manage the hierarchy.
That's a good way to put it. They join a dependent clause, one that can't stand alone as a sentence, to an independent clause, one that can.
Creating complex sentences.
Exactly. They show relationships like time, cause, condition, contrast. Words like after, although, because, if, since, until, while.
After dinner, we'll go see a movie. The movie part depends on dinner happening first.
Right, or until we find it, we can't leave. The leaving is conditional on finding it. They allow for much more nuanced and complex expressions of thought.
Makes sense. Okay, last but not least, those little bursts of feeling, interjections, what's their deal?
Pure emotion. They're short, often sudden expressions of feeling surprise, joy, pain, disgust, excitement.
Oops, ouch, wow.
Yay! Exactly. They often stand alone, maybe with an exclamation mark. Grammatically, they don't really connect to the rest of the sentence.
But they're crucial in speech, right?
Absolutely crucial for making dialogue sound real. Oops, I did it again. Yahoo, we did it. Or bingo, right on target. They communicate feeling instantly.
Raw, unfiltered emotion. Love it.
They add so much color, even without strict grammatical function.
And there you have it. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. You've just taken a pretty deep dive into the fundamental building blocks of English. Hopefully this gives you a much clearer, maybe even surprising understanding that these parts of speech aren't just dusty old grammar terms.
Not at all. They are the very structure, the framework that lets us build meaning, communicate complex ideas, convey subtle emotions. They're the unsung heroes behind, well, everything we say and write.
So what's the takeaway for you listening right now? We really encourage you to start listening and reading with a new awareness. Notice how people use these parts of speech.
Yeah, pay attention. How do authors choose specific nouns? What kinds of verbs make writing punchy? How are adjectives used to paint a picture or sway your opinion? How do conjunctions link ideas together?
It's not just about being correct. It's about seeing the choices, the strategy, the artistry involved. Understanding these building blocks helps you appreciate the real power and, frankly, the beauty of language itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So go out there, observe, and maybe even experiment a little in your own communication.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.